You are listening to ChartingWealth.com for Friday, the 27th of January, 2017. Markets mixed. The S&P 500 down 0.10%. The Qs, that is the NASDAQ 100, up 0.10%. We also see gold down almost 1%, while bonds were up. Let's jump right into things. We have our weekly trend line still going up on the S&P 500, and as we look at the PPO, the price percent oscillator, our main indicator, it's getting very close to crossing over, going up on the S&P. Hasn't happened yet, so we do not have a trade. We're still in a bit of a schizophrenic condition. Our two-day chart is going down, almost up. The weekly chart is going up. Remember, we predicate in order to get into a trade, we have to have both of these charts moving in the same direction. Now, let's go on then under the requirements that we have. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the Qs. It was up 0.10% for the day. Now, the cool thing is the Qs crossed over, going up on the two-day chart. Back on the 5th, it actually has really been going up all the way since the 8th of December, got very close and then rebounded back up again on the 5th of January. The weekly chart then crossed over at the end of the week, the 6th of January on Friday. And what we have seen happen is just continuing up movements. Now, the beautiful thing is that we saw on the Qs, the 2-hour chart, those of you who've been paying attention, following the rules, you know our green vertical crossed over going up. That was the PPO, crossed over at 2 p.m. back on Tuesday of this week, the 24th, and we have seen rocket upward movement. It's really beautiful to watch. What's happening now, though? We've seen this movement peter out and things are starting to slide sideways. Those of you who are happy with your gains, and you damn sure should be, at the worst point that you could have bought in when we had that crossover at the high of highs, 124.15. How high have things gone? As high as 125.82. So that's a nice, $1.50 increase in 2.5 days. Not a bad return. Now, what do you do as things start to peak out? Well, you consider perhaps selling half your position, and then if it continues to go up, great. If it continues to rotate over and move over going down on the 2-hour chart, perhaps you get out. What do we really do, though? Typically, when we jump into a position, you want to follow the next bigger chart and see how it's going. And how is it doing? Well, the next bigger chart is continuing to bound upward. That's the 2-hour chart. So again, derivative oscillators continuing to increase its energy, and we see a kink over going up even higher on the PPO. So different schools of thought, none are perfect, but we're still above the 2-day trend line. We still have a beautiful upward moving weekly and 2-day chart, and the 2-hour chart may be getting a little long in the tooth. But again, make up your own mind as to how you want to do that. We'll do a training here soon on how to determine when to actually get out of positions. Plenty of times, I just enter a good till canceled sell order with the profit I'm happy to have in a position, and I let her ride. And if she sells out on me, hey man, that's fabulous. I'm happy with that. Okay, before we run out of time, let's take a look at our other two charts. Where are we on TLT? Well, we see that we've now got our 4th candle forming on down movement after we had TLT, that is the 20-year bond, pop up on the 2-day chart, crossing over back on the 22nd of December. We've seen the chart sort of reach its high on the 17th of January and then start moving down since then. When we look at our weekly chart, we realize the weekly is still in a confirmed down move, trying its best to cross over going up, but still hasn't done it. So we have no trade in TLT right now. We can't even call a bottom in the bond market until we have a crossover on the PPO and are able to call the weekly chart up. Let's take a look at gold and see if gold gives us any. Now, and again, TTL, the 20-year bond, up 0.34% for the day on Thursday. Gold was down almost 1%. What do we see going on the weekly chart? It did cross over. Will it end the week crossed over? We don't know. It could, if there's enough down movement on Friday, it could pull what appears to be a crossover down and not be a crossover. We've seen that happen on bonds a few times in the last few weeks. So we'll continue to watch. We do have a lot of upward momentum as far as the derivative oscillator goes, and we still have a positive climbing PPO. But we don't call the weekly chart change until Friday afternoon at the close of the market. So we shall see if indeed that does happen. Everything changes on gold, and we call gold having reached a bottom, but we can't do that yet. Folks, that's where we end the day on Thursday. We get ready to go into Friday. We're continuing to investigate things we've talked about with you over the last few days, last couple of weeks. We have been doing our research, and we really like the trends that we are finding on our charts with these weekly charts. When we see these weekly crossovers, regardless of where the 2-hour, regardless of where the 2-day chart is, we keep seeing incredible entry points on those Mondays following a confirmed crossover like we might see in gold. We're going to experiment again. If gold closes out, we're going to try our best to find a good entry point and see how well that rides for us too. So far, our backtracking has shown time and time again with our charts that when we look back and find crossovers and we jump in when that weekly crossover occurs, we've got plenty of time to make considerable amounts of profits. So we're going to continue to bring that to you, and we'd appreciate your help and back checking and recommendations. Folks, we're all in this together. We're not charging you a penny for the training that we do here. And one reason we do it is we like to share the experiences we all have. There's strength in numbers. There's, 100,000 brains working together are a whole lot better than just one sitting alone at its computer. So folks, please, let's hear from you. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you're discovering and finding. We want to find things that work so that our community grows. We get better, and we have more and more of a chance of making good profits in these trades that we do in the virtual world. And again, these are virtual trades. We're not a stock calling service. We're not telling you to go out and start spending your money on these things. We want you to train with us, and when you get good enough and develop your own method of training and method of trading, and you do it again and again and again successfully virtually, then and only then do you make up your own mind. Go out and spend your money as you see fit. Folks, that's where we are at the end of the day on Thursday as we go into Friday with the weekend coming. God bless you. Take care. If you appreciate what we do, 3 things. Go to our website, chartingwealth.com. Sign up for our newsletter. We'll send you this broadcast and every broadcast that we do every day that the market is open. We'll also send you links to our How to Read a Stock Chart video, to our layout that we use, and to the daily market worksheet that all of you who are serious about this need to be filling out every single day. And we ask you to go to YouTube, subscribe to our channel there. We have like 1,700 subscribers now. We very much appreciate that. You can also, if you would be so kind, go to iTunes, subscribe to our podcast there, give us a 5-star rating, say something nice about us. Remember, we have the comprehensive review and forecast is a video format at iTunes, and our most popular broadcast, of course, is the iTunes Charting Wealth Daily podcast. So please help us out there. Also, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, we love to hear from you. You can always write us there at the website, chartingwealth.com. God bless. We'll see you again as we prepare the comprehensive weekly review and forecast at the close of the markets on Friday. God bless from chartingwealth.com.